So, Phantasmal Flames is starting to get its second wave of supply. I've seen this from multiple sources, so it is happening, and I mean, the data shows it. Prices have started dropping even more. So, in this video, we're going to see how much prices have dropped for Phantasmal Flames, what's been going on, where I see things going. So, let's just get started. So, Phantasmal Flames right now, the total set value is sitting at $1,365. Pretty much, most of it is weighted on two cards. About $1,000 of the total set value is just two cards. The rest take up only $365. So you can see it's very heavily weighted on just two cards. I think most people know about this. It's just the Charizards. Now, if you look right now, what's happened to the Charizard? Really nothing. They're still basically the same price. I mean, their second wave of supply just hit, so you wouldn't expect an immediate price drop for singles, but you will probably have to expect that these will probably go down. But they have been stable for the past couple of weeks. You can see here in the past few weeks, it's been stable at $600. Hasn't gone down much more at all. But you would probably have to assume that as time goes on, there's less hype with the sets, more supply comes out, the prices are going to drop. So where is this going to bottom? Obviously, if you're planning on buying singles, like I said, I really don't. I really don't think you should be buying right now with this new supply coming out. But where is it going to bottom? It's anyone's guess, right? It really depends on how much the supply really affects the booster box price. That's really going to be a big indicator of how cheap this gets. Because if it gets to a point where the booster box, gets so low, I mean, people might just start opening and you'll doing a little bit of gambling here and trying to pull the card because let's say the booster box is $200 and let's say this top chase card is still $600. You open 3 booster boxes up. Your chances of pulling an SAR at that point, I don't know, is that like maybe you're supposed to be able to pull one SAR or something like that? People might take the risk. You don't know, right? So if that's the case, people are going to be willing to do that. If it's if the top chase card's $600 and a booster box is like $200, I mean the payoff for some people might be worth doing that. But it's gonna most likely be the case that prices of these cards are gonna go down quite a bit with the booster box once that happens. So singles I wouldn't be buying right now. Where's the bottom? Like I said, it's anyone's guess. It's been pretty strong at 600 for the past few weeks. If I had to take a guess, a wild guess, which doesn't even matter, I would think that this might go between, I'd say $400 or $500. That's just my opinion. Anywhere between there, I think that's possible, but it really, really depends on the price of the booster box. But I wouldn't be surprised if it just drops another $100 in the next couple of weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens because we are just starting to get supply now of the second wave. So it's not going to be an immediate effect where you see prices just tank. But as people see supply and the booster box prices dropping, you will see people probably starting to undercut each other and listing for lower prices. Now next here, the Mega Charizard Gold has gone down actually a little bit, unlike the SAR in the past couple weeks. So you can see, 2 weeks ago it was around $500. Now it's only $400, so it's already dropped $100 in just a week. This card definitely is not as popular. I think it has to do with the artwork, even though it's a lot more rare than the SAR by a long shot. There's just a lot more demand for this one, but it has dropped more. So this is $400. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this drops into the low threes because the Mega Evolution, I believe the gold cards are around there, but this is the Charizard. But you also have to remember there's only one gold chase in here, compared to Mega Evolution, which I'll show at the end, there's 2. So this is probably going to go down as well. I wouldn't be, like I said, be surprised if it goes down another $100. Now here's the booster box. So the booster box hasn't gone down that much yet because the second wave is starting to just starting to get here. But right now it's already dropped another $10, so from $250 to $240. And I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is starting to drop, and we are hitting a point where it's getting pretty low. Once you hit $250, go to $240, that's a more significant drop than it, for example, dropping from like $300 to $290. You know what I'm trying to say? So this it continues to drop even more. Yeah, and it's now dropping even more after we're starting to get the second wave supply. So it's definitely on a downward trend. You can see a little bit more people bought when it dropped, and dropped I guess all the way to 233 this day, but can see an increase in sales volume when it's dropped. But I think personally, I think it's kind of an obvious take, but now's not the time to buy. I mean, it's just started to drop. Why would you buy now? We all know the market is not very strong. There's no point in rushing. There's literally no point. I mean, you're not, catching like a bottom here where it's going to rebound quickly. It's not going to happen. I mean, I think, most people know that. But just in case you were maybe thinking you got to buy now, maybe you were itching to buy Phantasmal Flames. I'm not buying. I mean, it's just the start of the drop. Where do I see it possibly going? Like I said, I mean, all this stuff is anyone's guess, but using Mega Evolution as sort of a gauge of where this could possibly go. Now, I don't know if the print numbers are the exact same for Mega Evolution and Phantasmal Flames. I don't know, but assuming they're relatively similar, look at Mega Evolution. So I showed you guys the total set value of Phantasmal Flames is $1,365. Look at Mega Evolution. It's about maybe 2.5 times more expensive as Phantasmal Flames, and it's also older. So this is also with cards already falling in price after a few months of it being released. Phantasmal Flames is only like a month old, so it's very different still to compare the total set values, because you will have to assume that this is probably going to go down quite a bit from the second wave. So it might be possible that after we get more supply, maybe in a few weeks, a month, this goes down to 1,000, and then Mega Evolution is all of a sudden 3 times more expensive of a set than Phantasmal Flames. And with that being said, with the second wave of supply coming from Mega Evolution, look at this drop it saw all the way now down to 235. So as you can see here, I mean, it literally makes no sense to be buying this at 240 when it's more expensive than Mega Evolution and it's worth 3 times more. I do understand, maybe the Charizard you could say is more of a chase than the cards in Mega Evolution. You can argue that, but I mean, having 3 times the set value in Mega Evolution is still a pretty good set. What's the reason for this being? It doesn't make any sense that this is going to be more expensive than Mega Evolution. I don't think so, right? And Mega Evolution even hit a bottom here at 220. So Phantasmal Flames, just based on that, I think it's very, very possible this goes to $200. I think it's very possible. I don't think it's going to go to MSRP. That's one thing I will say. I don't think that's possible still. But I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to $200, because, like I said, Mega Evolution, if it can go to 220 and the set value's worth $3,000, and Phantasmal Flames by that time might be closer to $1,000. I mean, who's not to say it can't go $20 under what Mega Evolution did, right? I'm not saying it's going to be at $200 forever, but I think with what's going on in the market, Phantasmal Flames, and also you'll have to imagine that I don't think the hype for Phantasmal Flames is going to get any bigger than it is right now. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 200. So I wouldn't be buying now. I think it's perfectly fine to be patient and just wait, because it's just the start of the supply coming. There's no point in trying to rush it. Now, if you go and try to buy a case, it's basically just the same here as just the loose box price. You're not getting any discount on eBay. The cheapest price is pretty much just $240. You're not really getting any discount. But like I said, I would be waiting to buy if you're trying to invest in the Phantasmal Flames. No point in rushing it, because you can see, using Mega Evolution as sort of an example here, how much prices have dropped from the second wave. And it did take a while for prices to really start, dropping for Mega Evolution after the second wave hit. There was actually a point I was making videos where it was rebounding a little bit after the supply came. It started to rebound, but then after that it went down a lot more. I'd probably expect the same for Phantasmal Flames. I expect there to be in the next month just a downward trend, and then some point it's going to plateau like Mega Evolution has. But I wouldn't be rushing to buy Phantasmal. There's literally no point. And that's coming from somebody that thinks Phantasmal Flames in the long run still. It's a small set. I think it's going to perform fine, but there's no point in buying right now when it's pretty, certain that it's going to drop even further than this. I highly, highly doubt this is the bottom, because the second wave just started to hit. You got to wait a little bit for supply to come in. People are going to be getting their orders in probably at different times. And once that wave starts to hit, where a lot of people are getting their shipments and everything, like, the prices are going to drop quite a bit, especially in this market. It's obvious sales volume has dropped across the board. What do you think stores are going to be doing you know, selling, you know, right now. They're probably going to be like, okay, maybe we got, I don't know how much they're getting from this, you know, wave, but I've, you know, seen it's pretty big. It's possible they might try to sell a lot of this stuff off. And, you know, like I said, therefore, I mean, I really wouldn't be surprised if this hits $200. But don't quote me on that. That's just a guess. But I don't think it would go much lower. And I definitely don't think MSRP is possible. But that's my stance on Phantasmal. I'll keep you guys up to date with prices and how things are moving. But yeah, 240, it's just the start. We have, I think, a lot more room to go from here. So that's all I want to share in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.